Let me just pick up on a few things in case I'm not so good at holding too many things in mind at once as we get too deep. So let me just reflect for a moment. So I think this is like an important learning point for anyone listening, because one thing that I hear you saying is a couple of things actually. When starting a new relationship, it's really important to think about your own state of mind, where you are, your sense of identity, all of what's going on inside of you emotionally at that moment, because that's going to influence, there's no doubt, who you pick as your partner, right? Because you're now seeing through a certain lens, or there's a level of vulnerability as well. I think I heard that too.
Right.
And this is something I hear commonly discussed in the literature, that narcissists go after a certain type of personality, and then they try to match up different personalities that do well with narcissists. And in my own experience, what I discovered is any personality is fine for the narcissist as long as there's a level of vulnerability and receptivity to step into a world, right? We'll name that world in a moment as we get deeper, but for right now, we could say it's an illusion or a fantasy of some sort, right?
Right.
So that's one thing that I'm hearing, and that's sort of a cautionary note. And the other thing is, building a real relationship takes time.
Yes.
Right. So you said he disclosed quite a bit initially. And even though you were a little bit curious and said, people come into my private practice where they pay me a lot of money to do this sort of thing, they don't even necessarily do it because there's a natural unfolding in a relationship. And when that doesn't happen slowly over time, again, something else that I hate to call it a red flag, but just something to be mindful of.
That's right.
Okay. But at this moment, from what we're describing, everything seems to be a good fit, right? So this is like a good fit. You're like really pumped up. You're excited that you met this man, even though you know he has some of these traits. It's kind of like, well, this could work for me at this point in my life.